want to show you something pretty impressive.
It's Joe Zekas from YoChicago. I'm sitting here in the office of Mike McCurry in Clarendon Hills, Coldwell Banker, and Mike is showing us this awesome old plat book, it looks like.
Well, it's an atlas plat book, a pictorial of homes back in 1904. Homes and buildings around the around DuPage County, and it's also a big bibliography of people that lived at that time. And this was cutting-edge stuff in 1904. Notice, and this page is actually a plat of Clarendon Hills, but they say west part of Hinsdale is right here. It's a very small part, but it's really Clarendon Hills. You know, I think even back then they thought of Clarendon Hills being a little bit of a suburb of Hinsdale, but that is so untrue, really untrue. And this is kind of where Hinsdale Golf Course is now. None of this north of the tracks was developed in 1904. Big plats of land, people's names that we know, streets named after them. You know, Middaw owned this big tract, which had the famed Middaw Mansion in Clarendon Hills that we Church of Notre Dame took it down and expanded upon it. But everything south of the track, some of these street names changed. In fact, this was a I don't know if this is picking up or not, but some of these areas, they found out this was really a peat bog, so they decided not to build on that. they took that street out, and now it's a park. So it's an interesting document.
Other towns where they would have built on the peat bog.
Yeah, I think they probably did, and they ended up taking them out because the homes sunk, or they figured out building construction, you had to put some pylons pretty far down, and that was too costly. So why do people move to Clarendon Hills as opposed to Hinsdale? You know, Hinsdale's a great town, without a doubt. My office was there for almost 20 years, and I moved to Clarendon Hills, my office, brick and mortar at least, to Clarendon Hills a year ago. So I know it very well. But Clarendon Hills, I think people find out that it's in the very essence of community, and this is a very esoteric talk here, but in the essence of community they find in Clarendon Hills, that people are very approachable, down to earth. And of course they are in a lot of towns, and they are in Hinsdale as well, but just that a little bit more. People come out on their front porches instead of maybe in their backyards, and that's very clear. When people have landed here and they decided to buy, that jumped out at them. That it takes very little to get people to do something and to hang out, the kids to hang out in the front, and the moms and dads to walk their kids to school. It's a phenomenon that you see every day here. And it's that essence of community that people are really longing for when they move out of Lincoln Park or Wicker Park and Gold Coast. They have their 1.5 children, and they decide on schools. School's definitely the most compelling reason. District 181 for grade and middle, and then 86 for high school. But it's the community that they bring.
I see people, Mike, I'm up on the North Shore, and I'm frequently in Winnetka at open houses, and I'm watching people who are looking both at Hinsdale, Clarendon Hills, and Wilmette, Winnetka. Right. They're making a choice between those two areas. How would you choose if you were making the decision?
As a buyer?
As a buyer.
You know, I hear the rumblings of what towns they're looking at when I get someone moving from out of state or out of the area, and you're right. They look at Winnetka, Evanston, maybe even Naperville if they decide the west suburbs, or Hinsdale.
A few intrepid souls venture out to Barrington. That's
right, out to Barrington, Northbrook, or whatever. I think. I'm a little biased, obviously, because I live here in Clarendon Hills and in the west suburbs for 20-some years. But I think that the traffic flow, for ease of getting to and from the region, to the airport, to...
You can't get to the airport from Winnetka.
No, you know, you better.
It's not easy.
You better plan well in advance, and then you gotta get patted down and scanned after that. So, you know, it's a 20-minute trip from here. You know, 294, you're there, and then we also had Midway, which is, you know, international airport. So, and that may be a half an hour from here. So to get around the region, and we've got 294 that skirts right in the middle of Hinsdale area. You've got I-55 on the south, you've got 290 and 88 extension on the north of us, so we're really at a hub.
Let's go out and take a look at some of Clarendon Hills.
All right, that sounds great.